Great evening, and great evening once again. Welcome to the Sonya Dungee podcast, episode number 256. Just one moment while we bring the other social medias on as well. There we are. And there you all are. Happy to be here this wonderful evening, Wednesday, July the 29th. Please do me the favor of putting the geographical area in which you are tuning in from tonight. We always love and appreciate knowing where you are tuning in from. And just a couple of little house notes. If you are receiving value, please put it in the comments you're receiving value, or you can relate, or you've had a breakthrough or an aha moment. It's very important to us. It lets us know that the message that we are bringing to you is being received and received well. Tonight's episode number 256 is being brought to you by Always Destined for Greatness LLC, B Lips, and Drip City Customs LLC. And as always, I have my little sidekick in the background. Okay, stop. Okay, right? Okay, over there. Hanging out with us in the studio, B, tonight. So, okay, puppy. All right. And so with that being said, we are going to start. You okay? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. It's okay. Give me that right there. You right now? Okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. We're just going to platform. We've been experiencing some difficulties here and there. But I want to welcome you and let you know that I see you saying hello to me, and I appreciate that as well. I know that the message is being delivered, and that's why I'm here, episode number 256 later. So tonight's episode is The Woman in the Mirror, the conscious decision to move forward, finding your true identity after parental loss. There comes a moment in every healing journey when you stand in front of a mirror, such as the mirror that I have right here. I keep it near to me always because I'm practicing what I preach. I do it myself. Okay, where I stand in front of the mirror as well, and I'm not doing it for an appearance. It's not to prepare for the day. It's not to pop a collar, but it's to ask myself, who am I now? Right now, in this moment, tonight, who am I? Because after losing a parent, that question becomes even deeper. Because grief, it doesn't just change your heart. It can change your confidence. It can change your dreams. It can change your relationships, your purpose. And sometimes it can even change the way that you see yourself. If you haven't realized, there was a woman before the loss. There was a woman who somehow lost herself in between. But there is a woman waiting to be rediscovered. The truth is, healing doesn't happen by osmosis, as they say. It's not an accident. It's a decision, a conscious decision. Okay. And conscious decision, according to ScienceDirect.com, a deliberate, intentional choice made with full awareness and active thought. And it's a decision to stop simply surviving and to start thriving again. And we're going to stop right here because I want to share my story with you of how I came before you tonight, in episode number 256. And that is because I too had to make a conscious decision. You see, my story began back during the height of the pandemic on January 23rd of 2021 at the VA hospital in Northport, New York at precisely 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let me just give you the background to that. Not even 48 hours before that, I was there at that same hospital at my dad's doctor's appointment. And I was told, along with my dad, strictly out of the blue, never saw it coming, that my dad had 6 months to live. Now, if you know me, one door closes, another one's going to open. I'm the one that squeezes those lemons so they don't squeeze anymore, and I'm going to make that lemonade, and it's going to taste well. So with that being said, so you knowing a little bit more about me if you didn't before, in my mind, it was, Sonya, throw that poker face on. Don't show emotions. Don't cry. Don't flinch. Daddy's watching you. If that is so, what that medical professional that you've never seen before is saying to you, it's going to be the very best of the 6 months that you can help give daddy. And that's exactly what I thought I was doing. In my mind, I'm making all these plans. I'm ordering a hospital bed. I'm getting his recliner from his home. I'm taking everything out of my room. I'm doing all of the things. But you see, God had a different plan, and he makes the final decision. And although medical personnel is a medical personnel and they went to school, and I totally respect them. I have family members that are in the medical profession myself. I found myself not even 48 hours later at my dad's hospital bed, knowing the inevitable was about to happen, not wanting to be there because I was in denial. So as I held on to my dad's hand and I looked him in the eye, stared at him, I noticed a tear come down his cheek. And it was in that moment that he took his last breath on this earth. And I know he took his last breath in heaven. And as a result of that, I spiraled out of control immediately. I went into survival mode. I lost a lot of weight. I didn't realize really going on in my mind, because I didn't want them. Excuse me. Papa, can you turn that down? It's loud. You have no choice but to turn that down or go in the room. I'm sorry. Thank you. And I thought I was not being selfish by not telling them how I was feeling, because I didn't want the burden of grief to be more on them and then worried about me on top. So I kept it a secret. So I thought. I only basically left the house going to and from the Calverton National Cemetery, where my dad's remains were entombed behind the Calabarium wall. And I continued that path for 342 days until enough became enough and I couldn't do it anymore. And that conscious decision that we talked about earlier came into play with me. I made a conscious decision that I would not go into the following year without doing something. And so I found a coach / mentor, which came with a iconic community of like-minded individuals. I invested in myself. I started taking classes. I started being intentional from December 31st. I made the last appointment of that day on purpose. My mentor told me, if you're coachable, if you're teachable, if you show up, if you do the work, I will help you. And I stayed intentionally focused, did the work, never missed a class to this day. And over 4.5 years later, here I am. And as a result of that, I became a parental grief coach. And I help women in their early 30s to mid 50s who are navigating through paternal grief. I help them rediscover their identity, find emotional safety, rebuild their confidence, and release the weight of simply just surviving as I once did, so that they can walk fully in their God-given purpose and be always destined for the greatness. So with that being said, thank you for allowing me to share my story. And I'm just going to kind of tattle back and forth. And I don't, being that I'm in a different part of the studio, just want to share. This is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. This gentleman right here. This is the reason why. So you can put a face. It's him. John Sonya Dungee. My dad. My everything. My world. So we're going to continue on. And again, thank you for allowing me to share my story. So that now that you understand the conscious decision aspect of it, tonight we're going to talk about that decision, the decision to move forward. Not because you've forgotten your parent, never the case, but because you're deciding to honor them fully by embracing the life that is still in front of you. And with that, I'm going to share with you these 5 steps, the 5 steps to help you on your healing journey, the 5 steps to find your true identity after parental loss that we often forget, lose sight of. And in step one is make the decision to face the woman in the mirror. Face the woman in the mirror. Healing begins when you stop avoiding your reflection in that mirror. It's not just the face that's looking back at you in the mirror, but the heart that's behind the eyes. Be honest about where you are in this very moment, right now, and something that I did not do for those 342 days. I was not honest. Heck, you couldn't even catch me in a mirror if you tried, because I didn't even want to see myself. And in that, give yourself the permission to acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge it without allowing it to define your future. I'm in pain. I'm hurting right now. I don't know if I'm going or I'm coming. I don't know how to navigate my way through it. Those are things that I would not say out loud. So I have, as you always know, reflection questions. So the first one is, ask yourself this. When I look in the mirror, do I see my grief? Or do I see the woman that God is still shaping? And you're going to hear me talk about God. You're going to hear it on every episode all the time. because I know it's God that got me through. And I know once I started Proverbs 3:5-6 saying it, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Boy, oh boy, when I really started to let go and believe and trust fully, and I rely on my faith, I never lost it. But I didn't lean on it either. But when I started to do just that, my path opened up. And if you're sitting here asking yourself, well, what does she know? I know what I personally went through, and I do not want that for anyone ever. That grief was unbearable. That heartache was tremendous. It cut to my being, to my soul. I was in survival mode. I didn't care what I looked like. I did the bare necessities to get by. I barely ate. Showered through on whatever, didn't care. Because I felt lost. I felt that my identity was lost. Who was I after my dad's passing? I felt like I had no purpose. And that is why I'm sharing with you. It's more than just textbook. It's my personal journey that I'm being so transparent about. Just so that you don't make the same mistakes. And if you're in the midst of a storm, you know you're not in it alone, and this too shall pass. There's no time frame on grief. There's no set rule on how to get past it. Will you grieve again? Yes, again and again till another. So in step 2, release the identity that grief tried to give you. You see, grief often whispers, you're never going to be the same. And you know, in one sense, that is so true. You will never be the same. You just won't be. But that doesn't mean you can't become someone stronger, more courageous, wiser, more compassionate. You are more than just your loss. Ask yourself, what labels have I accepted about myself that no longer belong to me? Step 3, choose healing every day. One step more than the day before. That's all it takes. Baby steps. Healing isn't one decision you make once. It's a choice you make over and over and over again. Some days you're going to feel that you can take giant steps. And some days you're going to feel like you can't even get out of bed. But either way, both are considered progress. Okay? And progress is the process. And as you're going to hear me say over and over again, progress is the process. One step more than the day before. You got up this morning. There's others that did not. What is one intentional choice that you can make today that's going to honor healing? Just one intentional choice. Step 4, rediscover your true identity. Before, you were someone's daughter. You were a woman with purpose. You still are. You still are. Your gifts, your voice, your calling. They're here still with you. Who were you? And who are you now becoming beyond your grief? And what gifts are waiting to be awakened? Step 5. Walk into your next chapter with courage. Lift that head up high. High. You cannot rewrite the chapter that ended. And don't even try to go dig up that pen of the past. That pen of the past, as we spoke about, the ink was taken out. It was discarded. That pen is gone. Namari. Yes. But even though you cannot rewrite the chapter that ended, you can still choose how the next chapter begins. And don't even again think about writing it with something from the old. The woman in the mirror is not broken beyond repair. We spoke about it many times. Remember that broken crayon? It still colors. It might look differently, but it colors remarkably. And so can you. That woman, she's still becoming. That woman is still healing. That woman is learning to trust herself again. If you truly believed in your best days that they're still ahead of you, what courageous step would you take next? For me, I'm going to answer that. I knew I had a purpose in life. I knew I woke up each and every morning when others didn't. I knew that my dad went to be with the Lord. I did not. I knew that there was times when death could have taken me. And so with that being said, I started to fight my way back because I wanted to help others. I wanted to find my purpose and know it so well that I can help the masses of women that were struggling to navigate their way through. Because when I was doing it, I didn't know about podcasts. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know where to go for help. Of course, psychiatrists, psychologists, yes. But I didn't know about grief support groups or any of that. And that is the reason why, no matter what, I'm here with you. Because in my mind, I know that somebody, just as I did 5.5 years plus ago, that somebody is looking to hear what is being delivered today. So in closing, my boss warrior queens, there's a powerful truth that I want to leave you with tonight. The mirror is not there to remind you of who you lost. The mirror is there to remind you of who still remains. a woman of strength, a woman of resilience, a woman of faith, a woman with a future. The conscious decision to move forward does not erase your grief. I am not here to advocate that. But it transforms your relationship with it. And in that, sorry. Okay, puppy. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. If you believe, then you'll understand that your parents' love was never meant to keep you standing still. It was meant to give you the courage to keep going, to keep moving, to keep striving, to keep thriving. And so with that being said, I want to give you this special invitation. If tonight's episode spoke to you, to your heart, if you're ready to stop seeing yourself through the lens of loss, and if you're ready to begin seeing yourself through the lens of hope, then I invite you to join the Boss Warrior Queen free masterclass, The Woman in the Mirror, a reflection that changes everything. Next Wednesday, August the 5th at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Together, we'll take a deeper look into the mirror, not to focus on what grief has taken from us, but to rediscover the incredible woman who is still there. We'll learn how to see ourselves with passion instead of criticism. Release the identity that grief tried to assign us. Rebuild our confidence after parental loss. Embrace the women we are becoming. Walk boldly in the next chapter of our lives. Because healing begins with one conscious decision. Just one. The decision to believe that your story is not over. It's not. And when you make that decision, you'll discover that the woman in the mirror, this woman, has been waiting for you all along. All along. Comment in the chat. That's me. Or DM me, text me, email me, and I will send you the registration link. So with that being said, before we leave, because as we know, once we get to certain social media, you can no longer read it. I want to thank you for joining. Let me jump over to the others as well. I will thank you for your comments, and I will reach out to each and every one of you to comment back. So with that being said, stay safe, stay well. God bless you all. And I look forward to sitting alongside of you next week on Zoom. Thank you for joining DC as well. Thank you. And bye for now.